Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 13th, 2018, getting a bit hot, and I thought I'd share with you some nutritional information related to the gardening that we do and the activities. The other day I posted a video sharing my experiences digging out around the lavender patch, which is an iris patch that goes all the way around that circular structure. And there was a lot of old compost, lots of weeds, and decomposing wood chips in that area. And it took me a full day just to dig the area out. Despite having pieces of equipment to help me do it, I spent a lot of time on the ground separating out all the weeds and trying to tease out the irises that were there. The second day I spent a half a day cleaning up the irises, pruning the roots, pruning the tops of them, and then replanting them around in that circle. And the following day, so day 3, after starting that activity, I woke up and I was extremely sore. Actually, it started during the nighttime of the second day, and I experienced tremendous muscle soreness. Now, this is to be differentiated from nerve impingement, like a bulging disc or sciatica, that sort of thing. Extreme muscle soreness. So people who are pretty significant athletes, one of the things that they're doing is they're doing little microscopic tears in their muscles as they're doing really strenuous activities, and that was pretty strenuous. Now, I don't exercise like a traditional person, going to the gym and all. Working around here keeps me pretty darn active, and I get to do all sorts of different exercises, and I'm very active. Despite that, I used some muscle groups because of the stretching and weird positions I was in, and actually experienced profound muscle soreness afterwards. Now, traditionally, what I would do is turn to my ibuprofen, which was one of the safer non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs as they're referred to. I think they're one of the safest ones that we can take, but I used to take them regularly before I really started studying nutrition. And that's as a clinician. We were trained to use non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to help alleviate muscle soreness, aches, and pains. Excuse me. However, right next to this area here where the irises are is the watermelon patch. And watermelons have a certain phytonutrient that's absolutely very beneficial. It's citrulline. And citrulline has a couple of significant physiologic benefits that I think all of us should be aware of. So this day and age, watermelons are pretty much readily available just about every place. And this time of year in the States anyways, every gardener, well, many gardeners have them, and you can find them in the grocery stores as well. One side note I'll mention is that the yellow flesh watermelons have more citrulline per unit volume as compared to the pink or reddish flesh watermelons. So choose the yellow ones if you can. This year we're growing some yellow ones, and we're growing some of our favorite red ones as well. And I eat a fair amount this time of year. So one of the benefits of citrulline is those people who experience significant pain, muscle soreness as a result of all those microscopic tears and subsequent inflammatory response, by taking the watermelon or loading up on citrulline, as well as other berry type plants, including cherries and all, that really promotes the amount of citrulline and in your circulatory system, and decreases the soreness that one experiences afterwards, so you don't have to take that ibuprofen. So that's a really good thing to be aware of. Another benefit of citrulline is it really helps our body to create more nitric oxide. So citrulline promotes arginine, and arginine is necessary for nitric oxide production. And nitric oxide is a potent vasodilator. You may remember some people have been on nitroglycerin tablets and all, and that helps to really increase the diameter of the vasculature, relaxing smooth muscles, decreasing blood pressure, and allowing more adequate cardiovascular circulation, so more blood flow to all your tissues, including your brain as well, cerebrovascular. One thing I'll mention is with drugs like ibuprofen, some of the side effects are they create inflammation in the stomach. It can actually end up with ulcerations. It increases permeability in the small intestine, creating inflammation there as well. So, and it can create problems with your kidneys as well. So there's those side effects of the ibuprofen, but there really aren't the side effects to the watermelon. The watermelon having the citrulline will decrease our blood pressure, increasing our perfusion of our tissues in our body as well. And one thing I think it's worth noting is that for men, an early indicator of cardiovascular microscopic occlusions is erectile dysfunction. So that's like it's like the canary in the mine, letting us know that we have compromise to our cardiovascular system and our circulatory system, and therefore by changing our diet, or at least taking in more plants, and one of them is the watermelon, which has lots of citrulline in it, to help relax the vasculature, decreasing our blood pressure, increasing our blood flow to all our tissues as well, without all the detrimental side effects. I'll put a couple of clips in right after this that are from Dr. Greger's website, nutritionfacts.org. I've featured him in previous videos talking about how he uses the peer-reviewed literature on nutrition. That's from the various nutritional research institutions around the world, and publishes that information. This isn't some guesswork or something that you're going to find in someone's blog or vlog. It's real scientific data, and it's something that you can have confidence in. The other thing is he shows you the evidence by following the link to his website, and I'll put links to both of these videos in the description below. You can pull up the peer-reviewed literature associated with the information that he shares with you in his videos or on his website as well. So I'm really into nutrition and health, and certainly promoting our better health care as our own responsibility. And I wanted to share this bit of information since I was very sore with planting the irises, and the cure was right next to it in the watermelon bed. So if you found this video of value, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos. And certainly, folks, have a super fantastic day. Bye-bye now.
Delayed onset muscle soreness is a discomfort that starts the day after a particularly grueling workout. Micro tears in the muscle lead to inflammation, and so the leading pharmaceutical intervention is over-the-counter NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen, provided people are offered a reasonable guidance on the dangers of their use. The use of NSAIDs is associated with serious upper and lower gastrointestinal side effects, including upset stomach, stomach ulcers, stomach and intestinal bleeding, and perforation. Of all the NSAIDs, ibuprofen is probably safest, significantly safer than naproxen. Still, there may be about a 1 in 100 chance we'll end up at our doctor's with some problem, and up to about 1 in 500 chance we could end up in the hospital because of taking simple over-the-counter ibuprofen. And that's mostly for the stomach. NSAID drugs also can damage the small intestine. Within hours of taking ibuprofen, it can make our gut leaky, and within days inflame our bowels. Up until the mid-'80s, we thought the small intestine was relatively unaffected by these drugs, but now we know they may disrupt our intestinal barrier function. There's got to be a better way to deal with muscle soreness. Previously, I reviewed the role cherries may play in reducing muscle soreness, thought to be because of anti-inflammatory flavonoid nutrients. Interestingly, while the absorption of these phytonutrients can help with exercise, exercise may help with the absorption of these phytonutrients. Here's the absorption of fruit phytonutrients in sedentary volunteers. Compare that to how much triathletes get from the same amount of fruit. If you look at each of the individual phytonutrients they looked at, they were all significantly better absorbed by the athletes. The thought is that elite training may modify the activity of the good bacteria in our gut, which then boosts bioavailability. But back to muscle soreness. Any other fruit that may help? Watermelon. Researchers in Spain had a group of men engage in intense physical activity after drinking 2 cups of fresh blended watermelon, or a watermelon-free placebo drink, and the next day, those that preloaded with watermelon were significantly less sore, around 1 on a scale of 1 to 5 compared to closer to 2 after placebo. They conclude that functional compounds in fruits and vegetables can play a key role in the design of new natural products by the food industry, instead of synthetic compounds from the pharmaceutical industry. But why design new natural products when nature already designed the products we need? As noted in a recent article in the Harvard Health Letter, up to 3/4 of men with cholesterol-narrowed coronary arteries have some degree of erectile dysfunction as well. There's drugs like Viagra, but they're a temporary and expensive solution that can cause hazardous side effects. Obviously, if your arterial system is that damaged, a more intensive effort that involves much more than popping a pill can yield longer-term improvements in both sexual function and cardiovascular health. Plant-based diets can not only reverse both conditions, but one plant in particular may be able to play a stopgap role in the meantime. The way drugs like Viagra work is by inhibiting an enzyme that inactivates something called cGMP, which would otherwise dilate penile blood vessels. So enzyme inhibition means more cGMP, which means more blood flow. But there's another way to boost cGMP levels, by going to the other side of the equation and stimulating the enzyme that makes it. That's what nitric oxide does. Nitric oxide is made from arginine. Arginine can be produced by citrulline, so I wonder what would happen if you ate more citrulline. Oral citrulline supplementation improves erection hardness in men with mild erectile dysfunction. And where is citrulline found? Watermelon. How much watermelon would you have to eat every day to match the dose they used in the study? 3.5 servings a day, unless you eat yellow watermelon, which has about 4 times as much citrulline, so just 1 serving a day. 1 wedge, 1/16 of a modest melon, should provide the dose they used, allowing for a 68% increase in monthly intercourse frequency, which your heart should be able to handle, given how much lower your blood pressure will be with watermelon supplementation. Watermelons got it all.